So there you go. At about a mile elevation, looking at some nice Permian limestone at a canyon that's taken God knows how many millions of years to be carved out by the forces of water. And of course, there's not even a river down there right now. And then you could see all the garbage. That's not from modern day rednecks. That's from rednecks past and present. This spot used to be, there was a town here 120 years ago because there's a big railroad bridge about, I don't know, half a mile yay that way. And so, you know, when they were here constructing a railroad, there was a big town here. You know, there's a lot of whorehouses, people shooting each other. You know, I think it's safe to assume at least 80% of the population of that town was extremely shitty people. Murderous assholes, you know, just greedy, money-grubbing sleazebag. Yeah, just kind of like, if you could take, you know, all the insurance salesmen, car salesmen, attorneys, etc., in the current Cook County and DuPage County area, you know, just get all of them, like a big enema tube, just tuck them out and put them here, you know, like 120 years ago, they'd fit right in. It's like the same thing going on, you know. Not a very enlightened class of people, just kind of, you know, but whatever. It worked for them. They were able to hang out here for about, I don't know, a couple decades, maybe a decade or two, until they burnt the place out and had to abandon it. And a railroad just goes through, it just blazes through right now. The Transcon. I wonder how old that is. It's got to be, what, 80, 90 years old at least? Maybe older. So you could see it's just, you know, 120 years of the edge of town was just up on that ledge. And, you know, whenever they just need to dump stuff, just throw away their refuse, they just chuck it over the side right here. So in a way, it's like a nice time capsule of the past, you know, what was going on here 120 years ago. You know, nice refuse pile. Refuse pile. You could tell a lot about a people from the kind of shit they throw out. The fuck is this? Oh, it looks like a piece of slag. Now here we got what looks like a rock daisy. That looks like a peridotally. How about that? Gonna have to tell Isaac about this, because he's studying this whole genus. It's one of those perennial rock daisies. Very linear leaves. Discoid flowers, no rays. Then you got, I think this is ARIZONICA. Microcephala or one of the other ones. Named after Gutierrez. But then, of course, when you turn it into a genus name, it sounds kind of weird. ARIZONICA. It sounds like some kind of a, you know, weird bacterial inflammation. You know, possibly at a groin. Got a nice Berkelia up there. Another Asteraceae. There's that goddamn peridotally again. Got a nice Eriogonum. Which one is this? There's so many. I'm not even going to bother with it. All embedded in the Permian limestone. It'd be nice to get down there, you know? I bet there's some nice stuff down there. But do you think you can do it without breaking your ass? Oh, look, it's a muffler. Got some nice echoing. I gotta put my glasses on. I can't tell if those are oaks or poplars. Hey, I'm gonna go with oaks. I think they might be oak. Look at the texture of this rock. It's odd. It's very abrasive too. This Permian limestone. It's what you'd call a tear pants limestone. You know, it's got the texture of sandpaper. You know, like a nice I don't know, 80 grit sandpaper. Doesn't feel too nice. And then once again, you get to the limestone, you get to the vertical rock escarpments, which I'm definitely on, and you just see peridotally everywhere. Again, you have a plant that just is adapted specifically to the ecology of vertical rock escarpments. You never see this growing on flat ground, and if you do, it's just growing straight out of the cracks of the rock. So it's a rock obligate. There's a little guy right there. It's perennial, got a woody stem down there. Discoid flowers. Yeah, I bet there's hundreds of thousands of them. And of course, they're only growing on a vertical limestone rock walls. You know, sometimes you'll see plants that grow on limestone, can also grow off of limestone, you know, on, say, volcanic rock. which is a different soil chemistry. But a lot of times you'll see plants that grow on limestone and then end up being limestone obligates. I think it's just because the abundance of calcium in the limestone. You know, so they probably have adaptive mechanisms, or a lack of adaptive mechanisms maybe, to just deal with all the abundant calcium. And then you go to like a volcanic rock where there's not that much calcium, and you know, plants probably have to take it up a little bit more. And so maybe there's just, you know, they're adapted to high levels of calcium. You put them on a soil that doesn't have that high levels of calcium, because limestone's calcium carbonate, of course. And so you put them on a rock that doesn't have those high levels of calcium, and they just, you know, it ends up being a nutrient deficiency because they're adapted to such high levels of it. Oh, you know what? That looks like a Juglans down there. Looks like a walnut. I think I see pinnate leaves. You know, but I don't think I can get down there. I think it's just a straight drop-off, unless there's maybe a little area down here. Jack's waiting for me up there, too. So I don't want to leave him. He gets nervous. You know, he's already a neurotic dog. He's already got he probably gets it from me. You know, I think he's got mild OCD, hyperactivity disorder, ADD, and then, of course, you know, you leave him for a minute. He wants to escort you to the goddamn bathroom. You leave him for a minute, and then he's having a panic attack. But again, he might just be up there just laying down and trying to, you know, eat flies, bite flies that land on him. So how many portals you got? 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah, everywhere. 5, 6, a bunch. And this, I think this texture, see how it's got that pitted texture? I think that's because this stuff just reacts with the natural, you know, acid characteristic of rainwater, and just, you know, it dissolves. Limestone, of course, dissolves a little bit easier. Actually, I think a lot easier compared to volcanics, you know. So it's just, that's why you see limestones you see gravestones that are made out of limestone. 100 years later, they look like shit. You can't read the text that's been inscribed on them. You know, so I think that's what's going here. This is just very gradually dissolving, you know. Just reacting with the rainwater and with the shit. So even though it's dry, we're high up enough that it mitigates the desert effect. It mitigates the heat a little bit. It's a milder desert because, you know, we're almost 5,500 feet up. All right, I'm going to stop talking. I can just hear myself echoing. There's a fucking loud dago in this canyon. You know, probably hasn't been a loud dago in this canyon in quite some time. So any wildlife, I don't want to vibe out too bad. I'll get the fuck out of here, I think. You know what? Maybe I can get down there. It appears I can get down there. You know, albeit it's sketchy, but you could do it. So, of course, the upper layers have been exposed and eroding much longer than the ones down below. So, as a result, you have this kind of step thing going on, where none of the steps are more than, you know, 8 or 10 feet tall. And they're at a gradual, well, not a gradual, they're still pretty steep as hell. But, you know, they're at an angle enough so that you can still climb back up. You could scale them, you know. And, of course, since the rock is not slippery, it's got a pretty good texture to it. It's got that sandpaper texture. And I got some pretty decent boots. You'll be able to get back up easy. You know, this is not necessary. Well, it is break your ass terrain, but you're not hosed, you know. You can still get up pretty easy. Let's see what we got going on. Oh, yeah. So here you go. Appears to be Juglans microcarpa. See that? Basically, you know, a small fruited walnut. See those nice pinnate leaves? Leaves directly opposite each other on either side of a rachis on a central stem. And they're doing well in this canyon. And you got a native VITIS. I think it's VITIS ARIZONICA. Just a native grape down there too. There's more of that Juglans. They get big too. I've never seen them this big. Look at those guys over there. Look how big those bastards are. It's a 40-foot tall tree over there. Oh, hey, anybody need a shovel handle? How old do you think that is? When was that thrown down here? 110 years ago? Jack, I hear you're nervous panting. No, don't come down here. Hey, stay up there. What are you doing? How the fuck did he come down here? What are you doing? Can you just, you know what? Hey. I just heard his nervous. He's up now. You know what? I told you to wait up there. What the shit are you doing? No. Hey, you stay right there. Now I gotta carry both our asses back up there. You're out of your mind. You can't just relax. I should have dosed you. It's time for some dog Xanax. Just sit tight right there. You're not gonna make it down that thing. Just stay right there. Okay? Come, Jesus Christ, you're killing me. Look, someone else has apparently used that to scramble. Someone else has apparently gone up this way too. Look at that 120-year-old piece of scrap metal. Somebody used to shimmy up that thing. Who knows how long ago. Yeah, just sit tight. I can hear you. I can hear you. Just chill out behind the bushes, all right? Be a good boy. Just go find a nice spot in the shade over there and sit down, all right? Just sit down and relax. You're making me nervous. Go up there. Go up there and relax. Shit. Anyway. So very interesting flora here. VITIS ARIZONICA and Juglans microcarpa dominant. It may not, I'm pretty sure it's microcarpa. If it's not, it's obviously a walnut. I just don't know if it's microcarpa or, but it certainly looks like all the microcarpa I've seen. I've just never seen them get that big before. But again, that was further south in a much hotter, lower desert. So, anyway. Real interesting stuff. I bet there's some really interesting shit down there. What do you think that is? Is that a species of solidago? Those yellow flowers? I bet it's nice to be an animal down here, you know? You could just relax. You know, don't take it too hard. You don't get too much sun. You always got a nice spot to relax and hang out. You know, even if the creek ain't running, the creek's not running, okay, but you got plenty of spots to just chill out and relax. And of course you got that Eriogonum. I don't know if that's Radii or what. One of the Eriogonums all growing in that little fault right there on the side of this cliff. Oh, you got a species of Datura wilting from the heat and the lack of rain recently. Yeah, you know what? It's one of those chenopods I always ignore, either Sarcobatus or formerly Chenopodiaceae and now Amaranthaceae. You know, I fucking hate to say, they're uncharismatic plants. So I just never bothered to pay too much attention to them. You know, but a lot of them are extremely salt tolerant. A lot of them are halophytes. You know, some of the ATRIPLEX. There's a ATRIPLEX hymenolatra, which is in its family, and it's called desert holly, but it's obviously not a holly. It's one of the most salt tolerant plants there is. It's incredible. It basically increases the salt molecules in its own tissue to counteract the pressure differential of the salty soil it grows in, you know, so it can still pull water out of that salty soil, because salty soil holds on to water, you know. I mean, the whole reason you got water moving up through vascular tissue is because you got, you know, basically it's transpiring out the stomata in the leaves, and then it's pulling that, because it's transpiring, it's basically pulling, because of how water molecules work, it's pulling water from the roots, you know. But if you got a high concentration of salts in the soil, the plant's not going to be able to pull water from those roots. So what ATRIPLEX does, and I don't even know why I'm telling you this, because this isn't ATRIPLEX, but ATRIPLEX basically increases the presence of salt in its own tissue. And you could see those. You could see the salt crystals on the goddamn leaves and stems. You know, so it says, okay, you got more salt than me, so you're going to hold on to more water. Well, I'm going to have more salt than you, so I'm going to increase the salt dilutes in my own tissue. Pretty ingenious, but whatever. Anyway. And then here you got a species of FRAXINUS, a species of ash. What are the low-growing desert ashes? Look at that. Olive family, OLEACEAE. Did you know ash was an olive family? I bet you didn't. Maybe you did. If you give a shit about that kind of thing, maybe you did. But it still surprises a lot of people. And of course, the fruits of Samara. But there's no fruits on these right now. It's a little dry. This is a shrub ash, you know. I bet if you gave it some water, it could get up to like 20 feet. If it was in a good soil with some, you know, ever-present year-round moisture, it'd do good. But right, you know, at this stage, it just kind of stay shrubby. There's a lot of species of desert ash, desert FRAXINUS. Anyway, that solid dago's up here. Let's see it up here. Solitary dago right up here. Oh yeah, look, there you go. It's a solid dago. Solitary dago. It's a goldenrod. A goldenrod. A lot of people in the Midwest don't like this because it makes them sneeze. They're allergic to it and shit. I don't know. A lot of people make me sneeze. I'm allergic to a lot of people. Like family law attorneys and, of course, salesmen, people coming at you with a pitch, etc. So, I don't know what to tell them. You don't like it? Just get a mask or something. Fuck, take a Benadryl. Wish they made a Benadryl for people. Jesus Christ, I'd be one of the top buyers. So anyway, you got a lot of diversity in Solidago. And I'm... Watch, this isn't a Solidago. I get back and find out it's not a Solidago. I'm almost 100% certain it is, though. Tiny flowers, disc flowers, all aggregated into these clusters. Look at it. And, of course, just the form. Tall with very cauline leaves. Perennial. At least comes back from a perennial root right there. So we know it's a Solidago. Just got to get back and key it out, figure out which fucking one it is, huh? But it's growing here. It's desert and it's hot as balls up top. And you got all the redneck detritus, bullet casings and shit, and burning garbage and trash. And then you come down here, and they get less sun because it's in a canyon, right? So you're missing, you only get that, the sun, of course, comes up 180-degree angles. You only get that, maybe it's less than that. Correct me if I'm wrong, maybe. But you only, you know what I'm saying. You get much less sun since you're in this narrow canyon. Do I have to explain it to anybody? Jesus Christ, it's fucking, it's kind of common sense. Anyway, you get less sun, you're going to get less heat. It's a lot cooler here. And then, of course, this is where the water drains in the winter when it does rain. Or if you do get a good monsoon, some good summer rain. So there's more moisture available here. And you get this nice little riparian here where you got the Solidago, you got the Juglans, the walnuts going off. Some little roost, some little sumacs. The stuff that looks like poison oak, but doesn't contain urushiol. Same family, Anacardiaceae, but doesn't contain urushiol. See that? Trifoliate leaves. Leaves in tree, but it's not poison ivy or poison oak. And then you got the FRAXINUS too. That's a good indicator of at least seasonal moisture availability. Just pretty wonderful. Jack's probably having a fucking heart attack. Jack, where you at? Every once in a while I hear him panting. I wish he would just go sit down in the shade. He's making me nervous, He's my co-pilot, and I don't know what the hell he's doing up there. He's just, he's always got to be around me. At least I got him to stop following me to the bathroom when I take a shit. All right, let's see what else we got going. Oh, look at that, SYMPHORICARPOS. It's a honeysuckle family. CAPRIFOLIACEAE. Huh. I would have had no idea none of this shit was growing down here. Maybe a little bit. Oh, nice Phoralcia. Globe Mallow, Malvaceae. The flowers ain't out yet, though. And it's a shame, because the flowers are really a treat on this guy. Got some Echinocereus up on the walls up there. Oh, here we have what appears to be a sketchy cave. Oh, look, more garbage that's just accumulated after being thrown off the side over the years. There's that VITIS, that grape. Beautiful Solidago right there. Beautiful goldenrod. Oh, look at that bucket. That's an antique bucket. You could polish that, maybe polish it up a little bit, throw a cactus in it and sell it to some LA hipsters for, $95 at least. You just got to market it right. I would never do that shit in a million years because I want nothing to do with any of that. But, you could if you were, if you're desperate. Oh, what do we got here? Oh, what's this? Is this a Lathyrus? Oh, maybe a Stragglis or something. Oh, look at it. This is a wonderful place to go antiquing. Look, it's a child's toy car. They don't make them like this anymore. It's not even made out of plastic. There's no plastic, just some rubber on the wheels. It's antique rubber. This has got to be 90 years old, maybe? Maybe less, maybe 30s. I don't know. The Red Chief. Oh, no, maybe it's 1950s. Yeah, I was going to say, it doesn't look that old, It's kind of modeled after a car that's in the 1940s or 50s. So what we're doing here is we're having a crime page, but botany doesn't. Antiques Roadshow. Get all the geriatrics, all right? Get all the overweight geriatrics. Bring them over here. We'll have a little show off. You bring me all your goods. We'll figure out how old it is. You know, I'm going to go with 1940s or 50s on this. Possibly early 60s. You know, the value is, well, right now it's probably about 69 cents. You know, if that, you know, whatever you could scrap it for. I bet if you took this to some crackheads in East Oakland and you took, you know, you let them take it to the smelter, they'd get, you know, at least maybe $1.69 for this, you know, and it's with a premium. But either way, you know, we're still looking at some good quality iron, you know, only moderately rusted. Could be a little bit of brass in there. And apparently it's just so twisted and contorted from being thrown, you know, 140 feet off the cliff that's just above this cliff. Okay, Crime Pays but Botany does an Antiques Roadshow. You guys send me your ideas. I'm just kidding. Don't actually do that. I don't care. You never know who's going to take me seriously or not. A lot of people just don't understand satire these days. VITIS. The grapes. So anyway, if a mountain lion did live down here, he would probably live up in there. But I came over because I wanted to show you the very interesting way in which limestone erodes. And of course, this is why you get caves. Because limestone dissolves in rainwater, which is more acidic. Or which is acidic. I shouldn't say more acidic. Limestone's not really acidic, but you get the point. I mean, you can see that dimpling too. That's from just rainwater slowly dissolving. And look at that. You got some nice little nooks and crannies. You know, if you were like a bandit in the 1880s, that might be a nice spot to stash your gun. You know, if they say the law's after you, I don't know. I've probably watched too many Westerns too. I'm just like those fucking old white geriatrics I'm always making fun of, you know? No offense, no offense. I'm going to be there one day too. I'll be there right with you, so don't leave some angry comment getting mad at me. Jesus Christ. Fucking sensitive. I'm a little sensitive too, it's okay. Yeah, see, there you go. I told you that FRAXINUS was pretty, huh? A lot of different species of FRAXINUS. Yeah, I've seen, God, there's one species in Baja. It can have pink or white flowers, and it gets about 5 feet tall. And one time I was down there, it was after a good rain. It was like in March, and I just seen a fucking field of these things, you know, with a bunch of cardone cacti, those saguaro lookalikes, except they're bigger, and they branch lower at the base, and it was just all those poking up out of the sea. There had to be 100,000 FRAXINUS plants. Forget the species that it was down there, but they're pink and white, and just fucking, you know, 60 flowers per plant. It was pretty incredible, you know. Oh, what do we got here? Look at this. Oh, you know what this is? This is one of those Mylar balloons that some asshole left. I fucking hate these things. What a stupid, frivolous, oh my God. You know, what is celebrate, you know? I'd like to dump a bunch of these in the nearest luxury housing subdivision. You know, what type of jackass gets these? Don't buy these. Don't buy these. You know, I don't even know if I need to ban them, but just don't buy them. Don't be a fucking jackoff, you know? Mylar balloons. What a corny way to celebrate anyway. Fucking tacky and gross. And then they just blow 500 miles away and, you know, some animal ends up choking on them or they're lit all over the ground. I got friends that are wildland firefighters up in Oregon. They got a collection of these things. They've collected like 600 in the past 2 years. Love you, Alan Vicky. Hey, you're being a very good boy. Just go sit down in the shade. Do me a favor and go sit down in the shade. Jack, go sit down in the shade now. No pepperoni unless you go sit your ass down in the shade. You're going to get heat stroke. I don't even know how the fuck you made it down there. Just go sit down. Thank you. No, go sit down. Good boy. Go sit down. Oh, yeah. Love the guy, but Jesus Christ, you know. I don't understand the need. You know, he's going to kill himself. You know, and I don't want to put a leash on it. What am I going to do, tie him to a tree? Yeah, right. You know, he's smart enough. We've been working together long enough. He knows what I'm saying. He's probably an alien. At this point, shit. There's probably a little alien in there piloting his motor function, you know? It's fucking... it's eerie how much that guy understands me sometimes. Oh, look, you got some doves and jays in there. Yeah, nice little walnut grove. Nice little Juglans grove. So nice to be in an area where there's no goddamn cows. There's no cows in Diablo Canyon. Look how much bigger they get when they're in a little bit cooler and moister of a spot. The leaves get bigger. Of course, that's with most plants, you know. It's a phenotypic response. There's that sumac. Who somebody was hanging out here. Who the fuck eats walnuts? Walnut leaves. Might have been well, somebody's living in there too. Look at it. Probably a fox or something. See if we can find any of the shits. Looks somewhat big. Maybe there's donkeys down here. There's wild donkeys. I like a wild donkey, you know. They make funny noises and shit. They're a gas. They make me laugh. No, that's all grape. It's all VITIS ARIZONICA. You know, if I was a hunter, I'd know what this shit is. But it appears to be goats or deer. The little pellet shits like that. Huh. Well, let's see what this blue tree is over there. That's interesting. Shit, look at this. CANESCENS. It's a species of Heaps. How about that? How the fuck? Is this native or was this introduced? How did this get here? Maybe the bastards who were here 120 years ago. Those sleaze bags who were, you know, in the town, the ghost town, introduced these. Who knows? But either way, they seem to be getting on fine in this little riparian area. Pretty odd. I didn't know that. Is there a native humulus from goddamn Arizona? I didn't know that. They're very fragrant though. They smell almost offensive. You know? Oh yeah. Look at it. The coyotes neurotically eat grass and then just shit it out too. And maybe that's puke. I don't know. Probably from a coyote though. Look at this weird aster. Got a perennial root. See the woody root down there? And then discoid flowers. Almost looks like a peridily, but when you get up in there and you look at it, you see those lobes. It's got 5 lobes. And the peridilies only have 4 lobes. That's what they're notorious for, is only having 4 lobes. So it's obviously not a peridily. I mean, not that it would be. It's growing on goddamn flat ground in the base of this wash right here. If it was a peridily, it'd be up there. There's only 1 or 2 peridilies that grow on flat ground and just grow on the soil. You know, it's Peridili amorii is one of them. But that's an annual. It's a different branch of the peridili family tree. You know, I got to talk to Isaac about this because he's the expert doing his goddamn PhD on the thing. Anyway, so pretty interesting though. You know, you got somewhat glandular leaves, almost trifoliate. Here's a little piece I plucked off here. How many phyllaries you got on there? Looks like just one series of phyllaries. Discoid flowers. It's a perennial. Huh, how about that? How about that? That's pretty repulsive. Are any of you eating right now? Maybe you want to throw up? Should I get a little bit closer so you can get a good look, you know? What are you eating? What are you eating? How about that? Oh yeah, all right. Anyway, let's get the fuck out of here. Oh, look at it. Looks like it's a species of prunus, rosaceae. It's one of the fruit trees. Maybe even a cherry. Kind of hard to say for sure, though. I might be full of shit. Yeah, the leaves are mildly dentate. Like they should be. See, they got some little teeth in there. It's a nice piece of pipe. How old do you think that is? Could be a good piece of pipe. Take that on the Antiques Roadshow. Fuck. That turret. Yeah, no, the bark doesn't look very rosaceae-ish though. Yeah, who knows? Let's get the fuck out of here, huh? Oh, well, that's nice. That was pretty nice. Let's get a little hot. Oh, yeah, how about that? Should be a quick climb. It's gonna suck, though. Hey, look, there's the piece of slag. How do you remember where you're going, huh? Your range of vision is only about 1.5 feet off the ground. Hey, come here. Wait up for me, god damn it. Oh, this sucks. I'm glad it's not noon, though. It's only like 10 a.m. Holy shit. Yeah, look at that. And to cap it off, you got some nice ammonite fossils there, eh? Now, ammonites, if you remember, holy shit. I'm sweating a little bit after cooking in the sun. Now, ammonites, if you remember, finally went extinct in the Cretaceous. They made it through the Permian extinction. They were super diverse pre-Permian, like pre-250 million years ago. They look like nautiloids, which they're related to and which are still extant, which are still alive today, but they're in a different clade altogether. But they're somewhat related to nautiloids. You know, the nautilus and shit. So they a lot of diversity in pre-Permian times, you know, and then the Permian extinction happened, which again, not to trigger all the ORGs out there, absolutely racist grandpas, but was pretty much hypothesized to have been caused by massive eruptions, volcanic eruptions of carbon dioxide that then melted carbonaceous rocks that had been laid down in the previous 200 million years. And it basically set off a chain reaction where these volcanoes erupted, not like any volcanoes today, so don't get any ideas, jackass. These volcanoes erupted, they were called flood basalts. They just erupt for hundreds and thousands of years. And basically, that went on for a long time. And that put a lot of CO2 in the atmosphere. But finally, what happened was all that lava, that magma, intruded on carbonaceous rocks in the Earth's crust that had been laid down previously. You know, coals, coal layers, other carbonaceous rocks and shit like that. Just carbon-containing rocks. And so when that magma melted those rocks, that then released more CO2, and that's when the CO2 levels just exponentially rose and caused the Permian extinction. It's also thought that there were gases in there that basically destroyed the ozone layer, thus letting all that cosmic radiation in, and that mutated a lot of plants. A lot of shit. It was the most devastating extinction, the Permian extinction, and it's also what took out most of these. But one or two branches on the tree, one or two clades of ammonites made it through. They were hanging out all during the Mesozoic. The ammonites got to see the rise of the dinosaurs and shit like that. They saw the Triassic extinction 200 million years ago, and saw the rise of the dinosaurs. And then they finally, you know, took a shit in the KT extinction 66 million years ago. The famous one when the asteroid hit. You know, I don't know why the Permian isn't the most famous one, because the Permian, the KT gets all the credit, but the Permian was the most devastating to life. I mean, you had 90 to 95% of ocean organisms wiped out. You know, this is pretty, actually, I might take this, you know, donate it to a museum or a classroom somewhere that, you know, other people can see it. Because not a lot of people are going to see it down here, except whatever tweakers show up to dump their garbage, or rednecks who are target shooting. I don't think most of the guys who are target shooting pay attention to my shit. You know, anyways, I don't think they oftentimes venture more than 80 to 100 feet from their car. They just blow shit up and shoot guns and then, you know, drink their Monster Energy drinks and then get back in a car and drive away. But anyway, so ammonites are pretty interesting. That was a long-ass disjointed rant. Thanks for sticking with me. Maybe you didn't. I don't give a shit either way. But the ammonites, they finally went out in the KT extinction 66 million years ago. There's none left today. But some of these, and this is yeah, you can see the coiled shell. Some of these goddamn shells, especially in the UK, get up to 5 feet in diameter. I mean, they are absolutely incredible. So they're like the trilobites in that they just had a rapid diversification, you know, in the pre-Cambrian times. And then the trilobites, of course, went out in the Cambrian extinction too. But anyway, so that's ammonites for you. And you can still see their fossils. I mean, they're abundant everywhere. This is pretty interesting. This is pretty cool. I didn't, you know, I saw a couple more down there, just faint impressions, but this is really, I mean, this is a fucking ammonite. There's no getting around it. You can see this basically is a rock that just came off this. This is the impression. This is the cast. Anyway, I got to get the fuck out of here. I'm sweating like hell, and you're probably tired of listening to me. All right, go fuck yourself. Have a lovely day, and goodbye.